Ancient coins? Gold is still gold.
After Scar fell, my people cried out for the quiet life. With crops and strong houses, we silenced our Velothi hearts and settled beside the Fire River. Scar provided with chitin and meat. We thrived. There was peace for a time, then bloodshed.
Aww. I really do love the stories they tell, and some of their narrators are just so good. Ah, fucking loot heavy this place is. Jesus Christ.
Maybe I should have joined the buoyant homages. Change of plans? They're coming for us.
No, he died fairly quickly. Alright, hold up. Let's back up, guys. Get the fuck out of my way. Alright, all of you have lids askew. Alright.
The first Ashkans grew old and died. New Ashkans took their place, with souls dark as pitch. They painted their faces and slaughtered us, with our home and history lost. The last of the Hilarans left the wastes in silence. You've paid your respects and listened, even as my family tries to kill you. Your heart is pure. Come, find me in my tomb. I will speak with you there.
Yeah. Family is pretty weak sauce though, like Blood of Draenor Helaron. Fearsome claws guided attack protected by his stone hard shell that none could even dent or crack. But the beast might our armies fell. But when a brave herald had no field, Draenor Helaron warrior brave with Kaltalis, his mighty spear with one resounding cry he gave. He raised his spear to the beast. He ran, evading every blow. His heart was set, his speed increased as he charged the mighty foe. With a final thrust, a final clash, at last the mighty Scar was slain. With honor gifted to his house, may Helaron's glory never wane. Aw, that's nice. I like that. What's up, buddy?
I sometimes forget the courage and vigor of the flesh. Years harden us, make us cold and suspicious. On behalf of my family, I beg your forgiveness. What brings you to our forsaken tomb? Yours is the only living heart that knows our sad tale. Truly, the Helaron name survives? Then there is hope for our house after all. You must take my spear and deliver it to this Drellith. As long as a member of my house carries that spear, the strength of the Helaron lives on. Yes, tell him that Aldrin was, is, and forever shall be our home. So long as my house lives in exile, the spirits that haunt this tomb shall never know peace. Drellith must claim his share of this land. The children of Ash may have forgotten our name, but they will not have forgotten that spear, the weapon that slew the great Emperor Crab. Their wise women and far seers will know its power. If he brandishes the spear, they will listen.
Alright, well, I have some hope for your little buddy then. Alright. Rest in peace, old man. Alright, let's get the fuck out of here. Neither route's really the fastest, but that's okay. Can you still attack me? No. I wanted to go the other way. Just because I hadn't checked that. Oh, I forgot to grab the spear. I'm a dummy. Alright. Get the hell out of here! Alright.
You're back. Just in time, too. The Ashlanders' mood has soured since you set out. I'm not sure how much longer I can linger here. Tell me, did you find anything in the tomb? Is this... By the three, this is Calderas, the Heleron Spear of Myth. I've seen illustrations, but I never thought I'd hold it in my hands. Remarkable. Did my ancestor say why he wanted me to have it? So my ancestors fought alongside the Ashlanders to bring down the great Emperor Crab. Unbelievable. But what happened to them? Why did they vanish? Yes, in the shadow of Scar, we found our home. There are few things more sacred than a dead hero's wish. I will see our home rebuilt, our tomb restored. I will honor my ancestors. House Heleron owes you a great debt, my friend. Thank you. Wise mothers,
Set
I
life's a quick
apologize for my
study.
haste earlier. I was simply desperate to reunite with my ancestors.
That spear, I sense. Where did you come by it?
Our mutual friend found it in my family's tomb. It belonged to my ancestor, Dranoth Heleron.
Dranoth? Wise one. Isn't that...
Yes, the unsung. Wiped from our history when he led his kin away from the Velothi path.
You know him then? Dranoth battled Scar alongside your people, didn't he? He used this spear to fell the beast.
Yes, Dranoth's kin, your kin, were once clan friends. When Dranoth left the path, our Ashkan slaughtered him and his people. A sin that still haunts us. We rarely speak of it.
Perhaps we can make amends. I have no quarrel with the tribes, but my ancestors have claim here. Aldrin is our home.
Absolutely not. The houses claim our land, our livelihoods. They will not take Scar from us as well.
Farseer, I have no desire to displace anyone. I will welcome the Velothi people to my table. Your pilgrimages, your cairns, your celebrations, all will remain as it is. You have my word.
The sins of your great houses do not wash away the unsung's claim. The Velothi people honor the past, even when it is inconvenient. Settle here if you wish, son of Dranoth. I only pray that Scar is big enough for both of us.
Thank you, Wise One. You honor me and my ancestors. I vow to show your people equal respect.
I do hope this turns out well. Like, I would much prefer this if this stays all nice and good. Alright, to the Way Shrine. Actually, let's talk to these people real quick. I want to talk to them.
You helped bring this Fetcherfly into our home. Whatever he and his Redoran overseers do here shall be your doing as well. I pray that you choose your friends wisely.
Hey man, I just helped bring somebody back his own claim. Like, it's not my fault. That your people fucking slaughtered him when they decided to settle. Yeah. Alright, we will end ESO for today, and we will take a quick dinner break. And then we will move on to, I was gonna do Once Human, but I think I would just go straight to Project Zomboid. I think that's more my jam today, so I think that's what we're gonna do. And let's find a quick funny YouTube to tide us over while I make dinner. Here we go.
Well, good evening, laddies, lasses, and lassos. Welcome to the
As
click. You
usual,
smell absolutely
I'm
astounding
going
today.
to
And don't let anyone else tell you
swap
otherwise.
headsets.
But there is a smell that just stands above the rest. A smell that I would love to hunt down. Isn't that right, Hunter? Oh, yes, indeed, your sweet aroma, Hunter. Just stands out from the crowd, doesn't it, Hunter? Oh, yes, indeed. Good news, Hunter. Today, we're going to do something beautiful. We're going to look at one of my favorite subreddits. One subreddit that makes you look at humanity and go like, wow, this really makes me feel like my hand should touch my face. Sort of like this. That's right, we're gonna look at r/facepalm, which is a beautiful subreddit where we look at the dregs of humanity and we laugh about it together, hopefully making us feel just a little bit less insane. Because you know what they say? Insanity is best shared in groups, or something like that. Enjoy. Mwah. Bro Lemao, my job hired me with my American name and declined me with my African name. They don't know I'm the same person. Oh, is that gonna be awkward the first day? Please sign up with the African name and the recruiter's gonna be like, wait a second, we declined this person. I'm the same person. Oh, yes, indeed. The world of recruiting is quite wild indeed. Like, the amount of biases and weird systems that are in the world of recruiting is absolutely insane. I remember they implemented the system, for example, that even if you are interested in making an internal hire for a position, like you move someone that's already in the office just somewhere else, you still have to put out a public application for it to, like, reduce the bias of only doing internal hires, right? But what actually happens in practice, most of the time at least, when I've heard about it, is that they still hire the internal person. They just waste a bunch of people's times because it's supposed to be fair or something, and their application's not even looked at. It's absolutely wild. And sometimes it depends on how you look, and sometimes it just depends on our old pal racism. Oh, yes, indeed. You could probably do a really funny prank on the first day, though. That would be hilarious. I love having an Air Force Defender in the house. Just got back from watching fireworks and our garage door was wide open. I remember punching in the code to close it, but we weren't sure what happened. But my Defender went and got his gun and swept the house room by room. Wait, so is this your husband or your son? That's a really weird nickname for like your kid or something. Oh, sweet honey bun cupcake, my little soldier boy, pew pew defender. Oh. Maybe his name is Defender. Maybe this is just a tragedy. Okay, anyway. He even yelled, "Clear!" a couple of times. We're all safe and sound, sunglass emoji, but I had to get a picture of him real quick while he was clearing his little sister's room. Okay, so his little sister's room, I'm guessing this is the son of the family. I'm gonna be honest, going around with a gun, clearing room by room when you have siblings that may or may not be in these rooms unless you know exactly where everyone is, sounds like one of those classic examples where people accidentally get shot. I'm gonna be honest. It is so serious he's going room by room, but so silly she's taking a picture. Someone is either over or underreacting. It's staged. He's posing. I mean, I suppose they could have taken the picture after clearing the house or whatever, but I don't know. This sounds like the kind of instance where you, like, forget that there's another person in the house, for example, and accidentally shoot someone. It sounds pretty wild, fam.
Alright, fellow kids, welcome to Trumpy Wumpy Workshop in the library. Today I'm gonna teach you how to draw the flag of ultimate freedom. Oh.
Oh, no. Oh no! Well, that flag doesn't really seem to be in line with the original. Oh my god, we really have to draw a line when it comes to these puns. Color me surprised. At least we can laugh about this online. Okay, should I stop? Do I have one more in me? I feel like I'm really drawing these puns out. Okay, next meme, please. A Tallahassee Police Department officer can be seen on body cam pouring out a sealed bottle of liquor and tossing it in Calvin Riley's passenger seat before arresting him for a DUI. Riley's jury trial begins on April the 5th. That is such bogus. And like, even if you want to believe this evidence, right, having something spilt in the car isn't even an actual proof that he consumed anything while driving. You could have just like driven a drunk friend home from the pub and they spilled something in your seat. You know, this is not an actual proof. You would have to have like a breathalyzer test or something like that to determine he was actually drunk. So even if you were to believe the faked evidence, it's still bogus.
If you dislike the updated Warhammer design, then you are a bigot. Hashtag Warhammer. Look at this Warhammer design that...
Is this just AI generated? Is that what this is? Readers added context they thought people might want to know. This image is not from the video game Warhammer. It is generated by AI. When you have to use AI to show what you're birching about, you have already lost, lol. I mean, I've seen this so much lately where people just make up something with AI and be like, oh my god, the AI proves that, blah, 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 blah. But of course it's gonna print out what you ask it to do. This isn't proof of anything. What are you talking about? It's so weird.
A 3-day alpha male boot camp is seeing attendees mocked online for paying $18,000.
I mean, to be fair, the whole thing just seems like a freaking humiliation kink to begin with, so I think it's just more bang for your buck, I'm gonna be honest.
To endure military-grade inspired punishment, like laying on your back and having another man spray your face.
Oh, that came out beautifully. Oh my. I can't believe people actually paid $18,000 for this. There is something about this sphere of content and hyperfixation about masculinity that I don't really understand. Like, don't get me wrong, I've had plenty of male figures in my life. They're like very respectable, competent, quite powerful men, so to say, but I would never find one of them going to an alpha male camp for $18,000. It's kind of the same line of thinking I see with a lot of people online that always claim they're alpha male or they're badass or they follow the alpha male influencers. Any man I have met IRL that I would like classify as an alpha male, so to say, wouldn't spend their time doing this. As another example, I saw a big uptick in comments after the whole drama thing online, and it wasn't on this channel specifically, but it was around the internet, where I saw people being very victim blaming and be like, oh my god, if this was just a tougher man and that kind of thing. But the point is that an alpha male, if you want to use that terminology, which is kind of inaccurate and cursed to begin with, wouldn't spend their day pooping on victims in YouTube comment sections. Like, you doing this has already established that you're about as far away from an alpha male as you could be. It also makes me sad in a way, because I feel that there is a vacuum that people like these fill, and they probably fill it for quite young people that find it very flashy and like inspirational, and you know, it's very in your face, and it has answers right now, and it tells you what to do, and it's aggressive, and like, frick those other people, it's us against them. But the thing is that you're not going to be successful by listening to their advice. So in my mind, it's kind of close to an MLM scheme in that way. It's just a weird thing to hyperfixate about, and I wish people had more role models that were productive in real life so they didn't have to subscribe to, well, this. Millionaire who made himself homeless and broke on purpose to prove he could make $1 million in 12 months for YouTube clicks quits his bizarre social experiment over health concerns. I think he actually also kept his health insurance. I remember reading about this story, which kind of makes the whole thing bunk to begin with, so I remember reading about this story, and I think he made, was it $60,000 or $64,000, something like that in 12 months, which isn't bad, but it's not $1 million, and it doesn't really prove the point. The whole point of stuff like this, like the counter-argument what this person was trying to do, is that it's easier to make money when you already have money. You know, if your entire paycheck doesn't go towards necessities, it's easier to, like, invest stuff, or start little side businesses, or just, you know, not get broke over your health or something like that. Making money is easier when you already have money. That is a very difficult fact to dispute. That doesn't mean it doesn't take effort to run a business, for example, and it doesn't mean it can't be risky to, for example, start a business depending on the market you're in, but it is easier to make money when you already have money. That's sort of how the economy works. So like an experiment like this just feels kind of, I don't know, like a bit of a slap in the face. What would you ban? Sugary drinks? Food desserts? Neighborhoods with no parks? Morals banned bodegas? Notably, no one said cream.
Crimes are only banned, Ben! There's minor crimes, Ben! Ah!
Oh my god, I can see this playing out during like a press conference. Some politician is standing up there and someone raises their hand and be like, so when are you guys gonna, like, I don't know, ban crime? Have you thought about that? Sounds like if Twitter was an actual press conference, doesn't it? Man, that would be a beautiful reality show. Twitter as a press conference. Oh my god, it would be like depressing and funny at the same time.
No helmet, no elbow pads, no knee pads, and no fear. Oh, how did we survive?
This is such a weird argument because the answer is some of you didn't, though. It's like the people that say Jesus wasn't vaccinated. Yeah, well, a lot of people died. Maybe not the entire population, but goddamn, we can avoid like the unnecessary deaths, fam. How did we survive? We laid there on the side of the road bleeding until someone came looking for us because we were late for supper.
If you survived.
Honey, being dead is not an excuse to be late for supper.
We grew up in a strict family home. Oh my god, that sounds like there's a horror movie, right? When like corpses come back to life and the kid is all of a sudden sitting at the dinner table again. Isn't that a thing? Brings me flashbacks.
Under detta food's awful and eating sucks. I eat the bare minimum and as fast as possible. I hate eating. I hate feeling full. Men who think cooking makes them manly are cocks afraid of the cage, desperate to validate the non-existent masculinity.
Afraid of the cage. Oh, it's supposed to be 2 sentences? Maybe?
Imagine how stupid you have to be to find food entertaining. Literally embarrassing.
You know, one of the core principles with being a living, breathing, humanoid being, you know, enjoying food and like the core instinct of eating and the satisfaction that comes with it. No, that's out the window, because you're a beta cuck. Oh my god, is this just like contrarian on purpose? Like, have we gone so far down the road now that we need to on everything to try to validate alpha masculinity? Fellas, is it gay to like food? You're putting meat in your mouth? That's pretty gay. Biden didn't know that Africa was a country. Very embarrassing stuff. Newsmax host Rob Finnerty attacks Biden. My god, we're really going downhill, aren't we? Oh my god, the world is gonna be Fallout in a couple years.
Why do women train for ripped abs? It's because they want to look like men. Truthfully, it's gross. Lips, tits, and hips. Men are simple. We want a classic beauty of a feminine hourglass shape. At no time in history did men ever want women with ripped abs.
Hi, historian here. I am comfortable in saying that at no time in history have women ever wanted you. Oh my god. This is another good example of what I mean with like respectable masculinity and that kind of stuff. In my honest opinion, it's fine to have preferences, but going into the world and being like oddly bitter against people who don't happen to fall into your preference, which would really only matter if you're interested in like dating the person, is weird to me. Like, normal people don't do this. Normal people don't bother. You can just let people exist. And claiming that like women who are ripped or toned aren't generally seen as attractive is just like such a stretch, man. Are you kidding me? Jesus Christ, you can just go on Instagram and it disproves this in like 30 seconds. Are you actually serious? r/conspiracy legend anti-vaxxer nurse who injected some 8,600 patients with salt water walks free. Reading a bit more about the case, 8,600 is the people she jabbed in total during her career for COVID, but they could only prove that she tampered with 6 syringes, and her defense attorney followed the defense of she broke some vials, she was feeling embarrassed, and replaced it by saline to not be humiliated. That sounds like a pretty bad excuse. So 6 people thought they were like getting a vaccine and protected against something, but it was absolutely bunk. That's still pretty heckin' bad, bro. As a consequence, she was found guilty of 6 charges of assault, and since there was little harm done proven, injection of saline are harmless, and they could not really prove malicious intent behind it, I find that conclusion really strange, because while the injection itself is harmless, it's just saline, you know, the same stuff you have in drips and stuff in the hospital, it can still harm people if they believe they have been immunized against some kind of disease, but then in reality they haven't. That is incredibly harmful, so I'm surprised that was the conclusion they reached. She got probation and her license revoked. So yeah, the main issue was that they couldn't really prove that she did more than 6, nor was it with the intent of being an anti-vaxxer. Strong suspicion, but not enough to convict. And this was in Germany, by the way. But that is a really weird conclusion. What an odd story, man. God damn.
Raise the voting age to 21. Generation Z is not mature enough at age 18.
Your party is forcing 10-year-olds to give birth. So 18 isn't mature enough to vote, but 10 is mature enough for motherhood. Ooh, that seems convenient, so you can't vote like about being a parent yourself. Maybe that's the scheme all along. I wouldn't be surprised.
I am at the ER with my daughter. She has an asthma attack. Triage told my daughter that since she's older than 11, if they needed to tell them anything that she didn't want me to hear, they will ask me to step outside. What kind of Jesus take the wheel kind of foolishness is this? I told her, those rules don't apply to us. We aren't liberals. She didn't say another word.
The absolute irony of this kind of stuff being for these sort of parents is completely lost on them, apparently. The fact that they posted this so confidently publicly is so incredibly yikes because they're just unaware of it. They ask kids about this so they can talk about, for example, abusive households or SA or any of these kind of dark topics when they're afraid of doing it in front of someone else who might be a perpetrator or an enabler of what is going on. That is what they're doing. They're doing it for the sake of kids so they don't get stuck with bad people. So it's so ironic that you would do this. Fam, guys, in your practice, we aren't liberals. Oh, gee. Okay, nice. You don't want your kid to speak to someone in private about home life. That's a bit of a red flag, in it.
Some guy on IG is mad that you can vaguely see veins in my bobs. So now we're criticizing women for, checking notes, having a functioning circulatory system. Got it.
Oh my god, women having a circulatory system? What do you need a circulatory system for, dear lady? So you can just circle around all the pee-pees in town? Probably a quote that exists on Twitter somewhere, I wouldn't be surprised.
Oh my god, that could be an amazing game for stream or something. Is this quote an actual tweet or something unhinged I just made up? That is such a good minigame. Let me know if we should play that on stream. Let me know in the comments if you're interested. I am interested. In the Muskie Husky biography, Isaacson tells of a poker game where Musk went all in every time until he won. It's an analogy for how Musk, in Peter Thiel's words, understands something about risk that everybody else doesn't, and now he's able to create companies that seemed blahi show more. How did he continue playing after he went all in and lost once? Well, he bought more chips. That's the whole argument, though, isn't it? Like, it's easier to make money when you have money because, you know, you can afford to take risks. That's... Like, heck, it's the same thing with running a YouTube channel as well. Like, it's way easier once you're past the point of having a bit of a margin. Like, running your own business is so much easier once you get past that point of having to worry about every single cost. Take something as simple, for example, as merchandise I make. Sometimes with my merchandise, you have to print a stock, and that can be quite expensive. I remember, for example, when I printed the pins, the VIP tickets to hell and horny jail and that kind of stuff. It costs several $1,000s to print like a stock of high quality items like that and hold them, and you're not sure you're actually gonna sell it, right? What if something goes wrong? So that's a kind of risk that you wouldn't afford to take if you're just starting out the business, but later down the road when you have a margin, you can afford to take the risk, and 9 out of 10 times something like that will actually pay off, but you're willing to do it because you know that you can also shoulder the risk in worst case scenario. So I don't know, this is weird. It sort of plays on the principle that you go to a casino and you bet $1, and if you lose it next time you bet $2, because then you will always bet double of what you had last time, and eventually you win and actually make money. But in practice, the difficult part is that you don't have infinite money. Once you get to that point, the problem is kind of solved, no?
My daughter in college texted me and asked where to go get air in her tires. I told her the gas station, and I swear on all that is holy, her response was this.
I only have $88 in my bank account. Will it cost more than that? Oh my god, this is so sad, man. Our expectations about costs are so messed up. Legit questions in today's times. They would charge you for breathing if they could. Ooh, there is a Doctor Who episode when they actually do. It's very funny. In California, the law says that the air at gas stations has to be free. The machines still have quarter slots, so you can pay if you like, but all you have to do is to go inside and tell them to turn it on. And they have to. Same with the water. Yeah, I don't think I've ever paid for doing air in my tires at a gas station. That is typically just like a little schlong by the side of the station you can just mess around with. But it wouldn't surprise me if it evolves in another direction. Yippee! Oh, in before it becomes a subscription service. It's gonna be a subscription service, isn't it? I'm calling it. In 10 years, having air in your tires, you're gonna pay a subscription for the air itself. It's a glorious future. Effeminate weak men are desperate to defend birth control because it's the only way they can get laid. You're pushing 40 while unmarried with 0 kids. I am pretty sure people are pushing birth control because they like naughties but not having kids. Yeah, like most naughties that is being had in the world is like pretty unproductive if you counted the number of kids per naughty session, if I put it that way. Or is the original tweet trying to point out that, unless you're so incredibly alpha popular male that every single woman in the world just wants your offspring, and that's why birth control makes you cuck, because because if you were a real man, every woman would want to be pregnant with you all the time. Holy sh**, have these people ever interacted with humans outside of Twitter? Jesus Christ, man.
Last month, I called 911 on myself for feeling that I wanted to fall off the edge of the flat earth, so to say. And the bill with insurance is over $2,000. The 15-minute psych evaluation alone was $400. Oh, and they still sent me home that night. It cost me $2,000 to not do something bad. America's healthcare system is so fricked up. I got forced to do this. They sat me in a room alone for 10 hours, told me to get a therapist the last 30 minutes and that everything should be free. Then I get a $2,000 bill just for being told to get help before even looking for a therapist. Large portion of my worries before that was lack of money. Literally just made my life worse. Reminds me of the cable company from South Park. I was actually reading a post by someone a few days ago that was talking about going to therapy for depression, but the conclusion they came to with the therapist is that they don't actually suffer from chronic depression. Yay, all the stuff they were sad about and feeling depressed about were actually tangible things. So their life just sucked, they weren't actually depressed. And this reminds me so much of that. It's if your stress is financial stuff and then you get a $2,000 bill for nothing, whoop-de-doo, you just literally made it worse. It's like giving a depressed person depression pills. This is so stupid. And it's an insane amount of money too. Like when I have gone to sessions in the past to talk to people to handle stress and that kind of stuff, it's kind of healthy to do. I think it has costed about $150 per session. So, $2,000 will get you like a solid, like at least 10 sessions, maybe more. And they charge them for just sitting alone in a room and then telling them to get good. Wow. World War III begins. Feminists are doing clothes and hanging them up and washing hands and sweeping floors. This is literally the opposite of what happened in both previous world wars. Ha, somebody's holding his history book upside down. Women were not active service in the USA, but in Europe where the fighting was worse, they did see combat. I think most notably would be as pilots in the Soviet Union. Yeah, and also snipers, and also plenty of partisans like throughout Europe and conquered regions. In the USA at least, they did join the workforce, if not the military.
Yeah, that's where the whole thing comes from, you know, the we can do it kind of thing, you know? We still have shirts with that slogan around today. It's kind of nifty. Oh, it's a little Twitter poll. This must be wholesome. Was as terrible as portrayed in the media? Yes, 37%. No, 63%. 45,000 votes. I just hope this is botted or a really, really biased little community, because my god, fam.
My 15-year-old son plays basketball, and he told me his coach gave him 15 push-ups for fooling around. How can I stop his coach from abusing him like this in the future? Oh my, how can...
Doing push-up during workout session, okay? Next week is gonna be like, he asked my son to do warm-up jumping jacks before playing basketball. Abuse! It's abuse! You know, in some instances, it's good that our, like, awareness regarding abusive behaviors and that kind of thing is kind of, like, on the rise. But in some cases, it really do be a buzz where the people are just tossing around, isn't it? My god, you did push-ups during a sport exercise. So abusive. A Band-Aid, our tone.
Our tone? Really? Woke bandages? This is 2023?
Courtney! Oh my god, they're unironically called Courtney. Courtney, you need to get real problems in your life. God, go get in like a situationship or something so you can at least have like some kind of problems to worry about in your life. This is not a problem. I don't know, I buy cartoon band-aids, you know, like a grown-up. I'm in my 30s and recently got a flu shot. The technician used a Spider-Man band-aid on my arm and it was awesome. You see, that's how it is. You only grow up in certain ways, and that's how it's supposed to be.
It is so cringy to see middle-aged white men wearing Nirvana band t-shirts like they're trying to fit in with young people. Like, shouldn't you have your own style from your own era? This tweet has been deleted. Oh, that's so stupid. That is so stupid.
Take 4 years apart. Same gas station, different president. Look, 1.85 and 4.08.
I wonder what happened in March 2020 that made gas so cheap. I can't think of anything. Must have been pure chance. Yes, indeed. And the Rotita, imagine being white and using your whole PP doing not this. This post has been deleted. Spending all that time thinking about PPs. Time well spent, I suppose.
2 stars. I ate here for the first time tonight. The brisket was probably the best I've ever had, but I found an entire leaf in my baked beans. I cannot make this up. Barfing emoji.
So, we're glad you enjoy the brisket. I'm guessing you've never seen a bay leaf in your food before. If you see them in the future, you can rest assured that it's a sign that someone spent time and effort making your food from scratch. We pride ourselves on making everything fresh in-house. No cans ever. So if you find unique spice blends and herbs being used in our foods, that includes bay leaves. Again, I'm glad you enjoyed the brisket, and I'm sorry the leaf surprised you. This is the most pleasant way I've ever seen someone just calling someone else a uncultured swine. This is beautiful.
California hiked the minimum wage to $20 per hour for fast food workers this week. You'll never guess what happened next.
March 29 prices, $565. And April 1st price, that's an interesting date to pick for your serious analysis, $590. Wait, that's it? That's 25 cents. That's like nothing, fam. Okay, a cheeseburger, $3.95 is now $4.10. Okay, so 15 cents. This is nothing, fam. You have a bigger price increase per year just due to inflation. What are you so upset about? Oh no, look at people making a living wage, but my burger is 10 cents more expensive. One of the funnier examples you could have gone with. Yeah, indeed, this is absolutely wild. I don't really get these people's argument, right? Like, are you arguing that someone working full-time in fast food shouldn't be able to make a living wage? I mean, in that case, people are just not gonna work fast food anymore. There's gonna be no one to make your burger. It's weird, fam. Like, you would expect that in a functioning economy, any job that is a full-time job would at the very least pay for your necessities. You know, one place to live, basic groceries, that kind of stuff. Like, that's the bare minimum. Why don't you want that? And the price difference is like nothing. I find it so hard to believe that these people are genuine in their beliefs. Why do you care about 10 cents on the burger? It increases more from inflation every year. Come on. Does educational background matter in a relationship? Substantiate your answer. Somebody delivered a pizza that we did not order, and we were required to sign a paper. I wasn't around. My woman signed, and that's how our house was sold. Wait, no way. I don't think it would hold in court, as it was signed under false pretense. Yeah, and I also think like housing documents and stuff are more than just like one single random page. This just sounds like really low-level fraud to me. They made like a freaking document, one page in Paint. I now own your house. Sign here to agree. Nah, fam. Come on now. To be fair, though, I have heard horror stories in couples that are really bad with money. Like, I've heard horror stories where the husband is addicted to investing in crypto and just lose everything they own. I've heard other stories when they, like, get scammed with really obvious things, but keep doing it over and over and over again because maybe the 5th Nigerian prince is legit. So, I have seen horror stories about it. I'm not sure if I believe this one, but maybe it's also, like, in a different country. That's also very possible. So maybe the legal system there is just completely whack. Or more whack, rather, I should say. It can always get worse.
Saving just 50 cents a day will get you $18,250 in a year. Let that sink in. Let's do this.
That's mathematically impossible. That would only be $182.
It would actually be $18,025. Damn!
2 days would get you $1. How would you get over $1,000 in 365 days? Ooh, speaking of family members being amazing with finances. Nice. Crazy times. Never forget that people actually did this. You see, they wore masks to pool. They were hugging in plastic. They were kissing with masks on. Okay, I'm gonna be honest. It just sounds like if this was like peak pandemic, you probably shouldn't have gone to a dance like that. If you're like literally licking the inside of your mask and pressing it against someone else's face, I'm not sure if the mask is gonna do all that much, fam. You probably just shouldn't have gone in the first place. Mesky Husky, we live on a stolen land by we, I mean us mammals. We stole it from the dinosaurs. Oh, okay, I can see the joke that was attempted here. Very funny joke, haha, but like dinosaurs were pretty like super dead by the time we came around anyway, fam. So nah, it's not really comparable to the debate you want to compare it to. So, no. Just in, Musky Husky confirms that X will begin charging all new users a sample fee to post, like, bookmark, or reply. I'm gonna be honest, with how bad Twitter has gotten, I mean, it was bad before, but now it's like, oh my lord, they should be paying me to use it. That's how bad it is. What is this? You think I'm gonna be more enticed to use it by having to no, it's trash.
Our words on MMA Twitter really thinks this dude is pretty. You say you're gay, bro.
Is this another just muscle mommy? Is that what's going on here? Okay,
I mean, I literally just played a
dudes?
song about
and like
Big
this
Buffalo
gay
Man the other
panic
day,
about like, oh my god, this woman is toned. I feel something. It's the gayness coming along. I have to make a tweet about how women that go to the gym are actually dudes. Quickly, before the gay takes over.
He kissed the girl, that's so gay.
Yeah, bro, kissing like a soft, nice-smelling girl, that's so gay. Real men kiss other men. Thick, hairy bears that feels like kissing sandpaper. That's how you know you're a real man. Okay, so anyway, next post, please. From selling your car to foregoing chemotherapy for your dog, this person has tips on how to beat inflation. Bread too expensive? Try killing your dog and selling your car. Booyah! We got them life hacks for those millennials. Heck yeah!
Silly millennials can't afford a house. Have you just tried killing your dog, perhaps? It's so easy.
Biblical prophecy claims the rapture is coming April 23rd. What's the time of this recording? Today's the 26th. Oh, gee, I guess we missed it. Numerologist says. Okay, well, that was a bust. Okay, so this is a conversation between a wife and her husband. Let's dig into it, shall we?
You've been breastfeeding? You know how I freaking feel about that.
What time are you coming back?
I don't know if I am.
Why? Are you mad at me?
Yes.
What did I do? Is it just the breastfeeding?
That. The feelings it gives me and how I finally understand that you truly don't respect me.
I do respect you. I just thought we could compromise about the breastfeeding, talk about it. If you don't like seeing it, maybe I can just do it in a different room.
Ooh, what an absolute man baby.
Well, we didn't talk about it. You just did it. And it's not about seeing it. I know it's happening. I am done.
Done?
Let me know when you're being discharged and I'll be there.
Like you're divorcing me?
You go behind my back and do something I'm stressed about not doing. That's no different than lying and shows how little you respect me.
About breastfeeding your child. I think you should be more concerned about like your child being well fed and your wife doing well after pregnancy and birth and all that kind of stuff. You know, this seems like a weird priority. Are you jealous that your own baby has access to your wife's bobs?
Are you is your masculinity threatened by a baby drinking milk? Oh my god.
I wasn't meaning to disrespect you. I just wanted to give Wilder,
Is that a tragedy? Maybe.
breast milk since he was born early, and I know it's the best thing for him with the antibodies and other stuff he'll get from it.
He is not a preemie. He was born at full term. It's still unneeded. He's still bigger than I was when I was born. And you could have always asked the nurses for a pump. It's proven scientific fact that booba milk is no better than modern formula.
I know, but the benefits of the booba milk still outweighs the formula. Latching helps drop the milk better than the pumps.
Yes, the benefits to where I'll never be able to look at you the same way again. Sloot, because feeding your baby.
What do you mean? You think I'm a bad mom for breastfeeding?
I think you're a bad wife. I think you don't respect me. I think you took a joy
My
away
God,
from me. I
this
think
is
a lot of
insane.
things.
Oh yeah, your brain think a lot of things and they're all dumb. Took a joy from you. I don't understand what you mean. Formula can still be used?
I enjoy your boobs.
And they're mine. And my alone. I'm not competing with some baby about the boobs. God.
Now they've been in other man's mouth.
He really sees it that way. I was just joking. That's legitimately how he feels about it. That is so unhinged.
I now no longer enjoy your bubs.
Yeah, your bobs have been soiled by another man.
This baby. Jeesh.
Just
People are fucking
Wilder,
insane.
not
Holy shit.
another man's.
He's a male, and your son. That makes it incestuous in my eyes.
What would it be the same if it was a daughter? Or would that be both gay and incestuous? What would the logic that be? I would love to know this man's logic because it's just fascinating. Not that I care about it. He's an idiot, but you know, what would be
I
the
don't feed
logic
words with
then?
him.
It's not like that at all.
Oh my god, are you actually kidding me? Incestuous. That is so insane. This person is insane.
I'm not saying anything I haven't told you before. I wasn't playing.
I know
You're a birch for making matters worse.
I'm sorry you feel that way towards me.
I doubt they're gonna let me bring y'all home, so good luck figuring out a way to make that happen.
I just felt it would be okay to breastfeed Wilder, and we could compromise the situation where you don't have to be in the room.
You don't get it. I told you that we'd hunt here.
Oh, they are a little tragedy family. Heck yeah.
That was a compromise. You made then. I still feel the same way about it. After you heal and get on your feet and we're able to afford your own place, move out. Until then, no matter how long it takes, the bedroom is all yours. I'll set up the air mattress in Wilder's room tomorrow. So frick it. Frick you. We're done. I'm going to talk to your lawyer about 50-50 custody because no matter how much I hate you,
I mean, you're literally insinuating wife is into incest because she dared to breastfeed her own baby. Honestly,
Yeah,
just
that
showing
guy's not
these
getting
texts to a lawyer is probably gonna make them not want to touch your case, fam. This is insane.
you can stay at the house for as long as you need. I'll sleep in Wilder's room.
They made a report because of what happened the first night I stayed in the hospital. Posts are meant to bring forward a dialogue and discussion of the problematic sentiments shown and not in support. Okay.
Not what they said. They didn't know anything about the last week. They said because you told them this morning you didn't feel safe with me in the room and wanted me to leave.
I just didn't want to fight over me breastfeeding.
Frick you! I told you when we fought over it with Hunter, I would leave you if you didn't.
Wait, so he has done this before? So he did this with the first baby too? He was fighting over the breastfeeding thing and threatening to leave, and now when she dared to breastfeed the other baby, as you do, then he's like legit doing it, and he's like talking about like custody and that This person is insane. Divorce them and get custody of your kids. Jesus Christ, this is gonna be horrible. If he's unhinged about this, what else is he gonna be absolutely unhinged about in the future? My God, parents that get jealous of their own kids are a special breed of unhinged. And I don't think this is gonna stop with the wife either. He's probably gonna be horrible towards the kids as well in some way or another. This is an unhinged person. Jesus Christ. Stairs in CPS. This came out of my niece's arm. Mamas, do not let your babies be tagged like animals and tracked by the government P-words. 5G is the Antichrist. Don't do it. Pizzagate is real and this is how they get your kids. That's why you can't go inside the immigrant camps at the border. There are no immigrants. It's just Wayfair's back stock. Hey guys, I have my COVID shot today and I rubbed the injection site and this 5G antenna tracking device came out. Just wanted everyone to know so you aren't being tracked like I was. Okay, so this thing, which I think you would probably notice because that's like this big, just was sticking out of your arm like an antenna. This one is actually clever, kinda, but what the frick. I took this from an HVAC sub I follow. Even if the OP wasn't lying, this is physically impossible to do. What you're looking at is a Schrader valve from a pressurized system. You have similar valves in your bike tires. I thought it looked familiar. Yeah, so if you unscrew like the cork on top of your tires, this is like the piece that is underneath that goes into your tire that you
plug on top of when you're pumping it. I have long since grown weary of this kind of lying, and then I see this. Can't stop it though. The crazy is impossible to contain once it's been let loose on the internet. Yeah, sadly, and then the algorithm feeds them to each other and they find each other, and all of a sudden you have big groups actually believing that you're being injected with bicycle pumps that are somehow 5G antennas. What would a 5G antenna even do? Like, practically? Sync your playlist to your veiny Bluetooths? It's wild.
When I was 6, my sister was half my age. Now I'm 70. How old is my sister?
35. Let's have a hard one next time, please. It says half, so half of 70 is 35. Wow, go back to school, guys.
Why is it always the people that should go back to school that tell everyone else to go back to school? It's just a Daniel Kruger effect, isn't it? Let's see how many angry comments we get about that one.
Why would my boyfriend want his side girl to have his baby?
Sit down. This is going to hurt. Brace yourself. She ain't his side girl. You are. Why would you be in a situation where, like, your partner is having babies with other people anyway? What kind of situationship is this? And why are you bringing kids into it? Throwback to when the car insurance lady asked my mom for front, rear, and side views, but she didn't get the memo. Yeah? That felt weird. Thanks, Ava. Hope those works.
Susan, you look very nice, but I need pictures of your vehicle.
Oh my god, look at the layout of the messages. This is old school. This is an old post. This is like 2009 kind of stuff. Yeah. I told my mom about something very serious and told her not to tell Dad. She told my dad and then told him not to tell me. And my dad called me and told me he knows and told me not to tell Mom. So basically all three of us know but can't tell each other. Okay, so he obviously knows and he told his mom, but he can't tell his mom that he knows that the mom told his dad that then told him. So he's keeping the secret that she told Dad. And Dad knows the serious thing, but Mom doesn't know that he knows that Dad now knows it because she told him and he told him. And Mom doesn't know that Dad knows, so... This is amazing. Prayers out to this boy. He is 15 years old and was kidnapped, and the woman was 23. And I understand it's a hard thing to go through, but you were posting all them guns? Wait, what?
He'll be fine, Lemau. He's a boy. You should be grateful someone likes him enough to touch him.
Oh my god, Twitter, you have done it again. Oh yes, indeed. Jesus Christ, isn't that absolutely beautiful? Disgusting. As if it wasn't hard enough for victims to come forward as it is. People like you make it way worse. Congratulations. Discipline is essential. I'm just going to leave this here. Make kids great again. It's like a spanky thing, a paddle with an American flag on it. Wow. MAGA, we care about the safety of children. Also, MAGA beats their children. Yeah, it's kind of wild, isn't it? It's kind of wild, isn't it? They're very eager to scream about, like, oh my god, the kids and blah, blah, blah. Except when we beat them. Healer sisters, hashtag Bluey.
Imagine being a freaking 21-year-old and making fan art of a kid show about freaking dogs. Grow the frick up.
Aw, my first hater.
No, really, why are you 21 years old watching Bluey?
You're right, 21-year-olds should be watching the news and documentaries only. What was I thinking? Oh, that's such a beautiful reply. Hell yeah. Just wait until these people hear that sometimes you'll get like a cartoon Band-Aid after getting a vaccine even when you're adult. Ooh, it's gonna blow their mind.
Are ducks birds?
Yes.
But how?
Warm blood, lays eggs, feathers, beak, wings.
By that logic, chickens are birds.
A Japanese man noticed food disappearing from his fridge, so he set up a security camera and found out a homeless woman was living in the top compartment of his closet and has been there for more than a year. Where does she go to the bathroom? Where does she poo?
When he says you're not getting pee-pee tonight, but you already put ZzzQuil in his wine, so yes you are, girl boss, smiling. You see that, fellow girl bosses? The punchline is assault. Just quirky girl things. Yes.
Well, gee, that was absolutely unhinged and awful. I do hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed having you here, especially you, Hunter. Yes, indeed, you got me through this video feeling a little bit sane. You see, insanity is easier when shared among your friends. Very good. I hope you have an amazing day, night, time, or whatever time is you live, and I will see you in the very next video. Take care. Mwah.
I'm not done eating, so...
Hi there! here today with Gus Gus because we were actually recently approached by the Charlotte Harbor Environmental Center to talk about the bodacious animals of Southwest Florida, and we thought, why not share it with you as well? So let's check out some of these rad creatures. This awesome creature is a diamondback terrapin.
I love these
And
guys.
this is a tortoise. And I want to talk to you about some of the turtles and tortoises that you're going to run into in the wild here in Florida. So first of all, you're going to see a lot of all of these shelled reptiles, right? And they're all turtles. But some of them are a specific group of turtles called the tortoises. And being able to distinguish between a turtle and a tortoise is kind of important, especially because a lot of turtles are very at home in the water, and tortoises not so much. And sometimes people don't know the difference, and they end up taking a tortoise, which isn't a very strong swimmer, and putting it in a canal or something, which that can be devastating. And the tortoises we have down in Florida are really, really important. They're called gopher tortoises, and they're actually not very common anymore. They need our protection, and they're really, really disproportionately important in the environment, especially because of the burrows that they make that are used by all sorts of other species. They're what you would call a keystone species, which just means that they're more important to the ecosystem than their numbers would imply. And to help you identify a gopher tortoise when you see one, I want to talk to you about the difference between tortoises and all the other turtles that you're going to see. And the biggest thing, the biggest difference of all is going to be their feet. You'll notice that this turtle, when it walks, puts its entire foot on the ground. It's called plantigrade, whereas the tortoises walk up on their toes. They're what's called digitigrade, and they walk sort of like this, up on their toes, instead of with their legs flat, their feet flat, like the other turtles do. They've also got a more domed shell than most of the turtles, though you will see box turtles, which walk with their feet flat on the ground, but they've got a shell more like a tortoise. And the reality is, don't put box turtles or tortoises into canals. You honestly don't need to put any turtles into canals. If you find a turtle up on the road, be it a tortoise or a turtle, if you think it's a turtle, if you think it's an aquatic turtle especially, which tend to have these flatter sort of shells, not so highly domed, and webbed feet, like you can see on this terrapin. If you find an aquatic turtle like this, then you might want to put it near a body of water, but not in a body of water. They're very, very good at moving on land as well. So if it's near a body of water, it'll get there. And if it's not a turtle that is used to swimming, it probably won't go in there. That'll be the best situation of all. And that will help protect our native gopher tortoises. Now, I want to talk to you about not only one of the coolest animals in Florida, but arguably one of the coolest animals in the entire world. One of the coolest animals to ever exist. And that is the American alligator. The American alligator is one of two native crocodilian species that you guys have down in Florida. The other being the American crocodile, which is really, really cool, but considerably more rare. Most of the time, if you see a big old crocodilian, it's an alligator, and alligators are awesome. They are a really important part of the ecosystem down in Florida. But you also need to be careful about the way that you interact with them because they're very powerful and they are potentially dangerous. One thing that I want to encourage you not to do is feed them. And it's very tempting to feed them because it's really, really cool. You get to see the way that they eat and you get to see them move and do things. But just think about this for a second. Not only are you potentially making these alligators dependent on humans for their survival, but on top of that, you're teaching them to associate humans with food. And you're encouraging alligators to approach humans when they want food, which in some cases is going to cause them to become what you call a nuisance alligator, and could lead to them having to be killed. So you're putting the alligator's life in danger. You're also putting people's lives in danger by feeding them. And the best thing to do is to appreciate them from a safe distance, but don't feed them. They do have some really amazing jaws, and their bite strength is absolutely incredible. They can bite down really hard, and what alligators do is they bite down and they hold on. If they do need to bite chunks off, they don't do it through chomping and chewing, they do it through spinning. They'll do what's called a death roll and they'll tear off pieces of stuff. But usually they will bite and they will pull things underwater and they will drown them. And you don't want that to be you. Should you ever find yourself in the mouth of an alligator, something you'll notice about alligators is that in the back of their throat, they have something called a palatal valve. What that valve does is it creates a dam, essentially, between their mouth and their stomach, so that when they're underwater with their mouth open, their stomachs don't fill up. If you're ever attacked by an alligator, you need to keep your wits about you. And you need to stick your hand into the back of their mouth and push down that valve. Then their stomachs will flood with water and they will let you go because they have a much bigger problem to deal with. Alligators make spectacular parents, by the way, which is a really neat thing, but something to be aware of. Even if you see little alligators like this guy, which aren't a danger to you, you should leave them alone. You can enjoy them, but enjoy them from a safe distance because oftentimes mom is still around and she is protecting them. And if they feel threatened, they start to call. You'll hear them, arr, arr, arr. And to mommy that means, I need you to come kill somebody. And she'll be on her way. Alligators, though, they are a really important part of the ecosystem. They very rarely put people in danger, but the main thing is just be smart. Be careful around water, especially if you know there are alligators there. Don't feed them, and you can have a wonderful relationship with your native alligators. This absolute legend of a snake is a young eastern indigo snake. And if you ever see one of these in the wild, consider yourself very, very fortunate because this is one of the most special snakes we have anywhere in the United States, really anywhere in the world. Like I said, this one is a juvenile, but this is what they can grow to be as adults. This is a giant snake. Though most of the time when you see them, they'll probably be a little bit smaller like this one. They do get huge, and that's awesome. The eastern indigo is the longest North American snake, and it is a predator of other snakes primarily, and they hunt in a really, really bodacious way. They've got very strong jaws, and they just overpower other snakes. They'll grab them, they'll roll with them. These are basically the king cobras of the Americas. The notable difference is that these are not venomous, though they do feed upon a number of venomous snakes. And in the wild, these guys are actually endangered, and they're definitely a snake that if you see one, you need to look at it, you need to enjoy it, take some pictures, but let it go on its way. You're going to be able to identify them, especially as they get a little older. They are a jet black snake. They've often got a lot of red on their face, on their chin, and a little bit going down onto their belly, but for the most part, they are jet black. There are a few other snakes with which you might confuse them. One of them being the water moccasin. Down in the Florida area, those are also pretty dark. I've had the pleasure of seeing some in Florida. That is a much heavier bodied snake with a much bigger, broader head, but it's also a snake that if you run into it, it's best just to leave it alone. You also might see black rat snakes, black racers. There are a number of other dark colored snakes, some of the water snakes that you're going to see down there. They'll also be black. All of these snakes are awesome. All of them are super beneficial. They're lovely snakes. And if you decide to leave them all alone, they won't mind that a bit. Just enjoy these snakes. It's just incredible that you even have them. Now I want to talk to you about something that's actually really important for those of you, especially down in Florida, because Florida is a great place to live. Actually, not just for people and the native species that are there, but actually for a whole lot of animals that are found all over the world. Almost anything could survive in Florida. It's just such a rich ecosystem. Unfortunately, when you bring new animals and plants and all sorts of other organisms into a new environment where they don't exist naturally, they can often displace or kick out the native species, the species that have been there for thousands and millions of years, and sometimes they can cause those other species to go extinct. One of the animals you're probably hearing about a lot are actually these Argentine black and white tegus. These guys come from South America, and they're actually a really important part of the environment in South America. However, historically, they didn't exist in Florida. Other species you might have heard about that have become introduced into Florida that don't occur there naturally are things like Nile monitors, iguanas, Burmese pythons, even things like dogs and cats. And tegus, like Gus Gus here, they don't belong down there either. In many cases, these animals will eat other animals that live down there. They will compete with native animals for food. Roll over, buddy. Good boy. Good boy. And while I think Gus Gus makes an absolutely spectacular pet, he's something that definitely shouldn't be released into the environment in Florida. And that's the mistake that people make sometimes, is that they will have a pet that they think is a great pet, but after a while they decide, you know what, this is too much for me, and they just let it go. And like I said, things like Nile monitors, tegus, Burmese pythons, iguanas, these animals have established really big populations down in Florida, and part of this may come from people who are irresponsible with their pets. Other animals that I definitely want to talk about, because it's important also, are dogs and cats. Letting your dogs and cats roam around or releasing them into the wild, that can cause massive problems as well. And so it's not just the reptiles that can be devastating invasive species. In fact, in New Zealand, it is rumored that an entire species of bird was driven to extinction by one lighthouse keeper's cat. There is the possibility that multiple cats were involved, but cats have caused the extinctions of countless species all over the world. So keep your cats inside. This
I love my baby, but
is a red rat snake, also known as a corn snake, which is a really, really popular pet snake because they're actually super pleasant and wonderful little guys. And you down in Florida are lucky enough to have these, as well as a number of other rat snakes like yellow rat snakes and Everglades rat snakes. And all of these rat snakes are very valuable in the environment of southern Florida. One of the things that these snakes do for us is they provide a lot of rodent control. These guys are big-time rodent eaters. These are often associated with being in cornfields, and they're not in cornfields because they like to eat corn. They're in cornfields because they like to eat the rodents that like to eat corn. These guys also have an amazing climbing ability. A lot of snakes can climb trees surprisingly well, and rat snakes often can get up really high, sometimes to hunt birds, sometimes just to escape from predators. When threatened, they can defend themselves. Their bite is nothing to worry about. Sometimes these are misidentified as being venomous snakes. They're not. We'll talk to you a little bit more about that in a second. But they can bite, but the bite, I mean, it's probably not even going to draw any blood. They'll rattle their tails sometimes, which makes an alarming noise, and they puff up and try to look big because when you're a little rat snake, the world's a pretty scary place, and the only chance you have of surviving if a predator like a big scary person finds you is to scare it away. Their last resort, if you pick one up, you might discover this, is they can musk you, which just means they kind of cover you with some stinky slime that they secrete from their vent down right by the base of their tail. And so they could leave you a little bit stinky, and that's about the most damage they can do. These are very, very sweet snakes. But like I said, sometimes they're misidentified as venomous snakes. Sometimes people even kill them because they think they're venomous, which trying to kill a venomous snake is not a good idea. That's actually one of the best ways to get yourself bitten by a venomous snake. If you just leave it alone, you'll probably be fine. Very, very few people are bitten by venomous snakes, and far fewer are killed by venomous snakes in the United States. In fact, you're more likely to be killed by a deer, and I'm talking about like from a deer attack, than by a venomous snake in the United States. So venomous snakes are not a major threat to you. People will confuse these at times with copperheads, which are a much thicker, more heavy-bodied snake with a much larger triangular shaped head. They could also potentially be mistaken for things like cottonmouths or rattlesnakes because of that rattling behavior. But again, those are all vipers, and they're heavy-bodied, thick snakes generally with big triangular shaped heads. They actually look very different from this corn snake. The main thing to remember is if you don't know what kind of a snake it is, don't pick it up, right? Leave it alone, and it will almost certainly leave you alone. This is a highly venomous coral snake. Or is it?
Pretty.
There is a very decent chance that you at some point will run across a tricolored snake like this. It has red and black and yellow. And you might wonder, is this a dangerous snake or is it not? And I will tell you that some snakes that look like this are very dangerous. The coral snakes, they're not very aggressive. If you leave them alone, they will leave you alone. But they have a very, very powerful venom. And so you don't want to pick one up on accident. We already said if you don't know what it is, just leave it alone. And that's a wise thing to do with any of these snakes. However, if you want to be able to identify a coral snake from some of the other tricolored snakes that you might see, like milk snakes or scarlet snakes or scarlet king snakes, then the key will be to look at the order of the bands. This works really well in the United States. If you see that they've got bands where red touches yellow, well, that's a venomous coral snake. If you see that the bands are red touches black, like with this snake, then it is a harmless snake of some sort. Could be a king snake, could be a milk snake, and you can handle it safely. The only risk might be a totally harmless bite. Again, if you're not absolutely sure what kind of snake you're looking at, just leave it alone, right? But if you do take the time to identify, okay, it's got red touching black, then you're safe. And you could pick it up if you wanted to. However, if you're outside of the United States, there are coral snakes with this exact patterning. Don't pick up any snake that looks like this.
Only in the United States.
Coral snakes, by the way, are super important in the environment. They're really, really beautiful. They're really actually fairly rare. They're reclusive. They tend to stay to themselves, and they don't bother anybody. But they actually provide a very important role in the environment. So just let them be. Thank you guys so much for coming with us on our tour of amazing Florida wildlife. Hopefully you continue to research on the native species in our area as well as the introduced species and figure out ways that you can help to strengthen our natural habitats and natural places. I'd like to give a special thanks to the Charlotte Harbor Environmental Center for making this video possible. It's a really cool mission that you guys have. Keep going. As always, like and subscribe, and we hope to see you real soon. I just realized I've now been handling a snake, and now it's like, and now get the snake eater out. Can you wash behind your ears? Oh, you're a good guy, aren't you? You're just a good turtle. Look at how beautiful this creature is.
Can you demonstrate one more time?
Yes.
Now that was a turtle. Or
that was a tortoise. That was a tortoise. This would be a turtle.
I love him. He's so funny.
Good. Totally different. And if they need to bite chunks off, they don't do it like, if they need to bite chunks off, they don't do it like through chomping and chewing. They do it through spinning. But like, if they need to bite off like chunks, they like do it through like chomping and chewing. No, they do it through like spinning. They will do what's called a death roll. And they will tear off pieces of stuff. And if they feel threatened, they start to call. You'll hear them. Call, call, call. As always, love the planet, feed your reptile obsession, and rattle on.
Cute. Alright. Time for Project Xenoboid. I gotta remember to change my headset. Oops, wrong one. Do a refresh of that page. That's what I wanted to do. Alright. And we'll put you in the fridge. Alright. Honestly, ooh, hell yeah. Oh, wait. Anything special in the freezer? No. Hell yeah. Nope. Wait. Let's grab that book. Alright, well, much in here. I was kind of hoping for a little more, but you know. Let's actually go back home, and I guess we're going to start driving the car around. Things are a bit spread out. I'm starting to run out of room on food, so we won't have to loot any of that for a while. Well, let's have a pop to drink because it just makes you happier. Okay, let's see that book. Oh, sleeping tablets can go in here. And let's actually do these real quick to make my dude just a little happier. Alright, that did not work. I was hoping that was going to make them a little happier, but they did not. Alright, let's inspect my clothes. Condition is good. Holes. General good condition, general good condition. Actually, no. I'm gonna go to bed, guys. And we'll stream tomorrow. We'll be on at the normal time and all that. I just realized I am utterly exhausted. So it's probably the usual, darlings. Be good, be kind, make good choices. Don't really think too crazy, because crazy is good and crazy is bad. I'll be back tomorrow, 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Maybe even a little earlier. We'll see. Yeah.